working visa. Sabi nyo, covered kasi ng Commonwealth Act yan. Pinapayagan nyo. Pero kung ako, hindi ako papayag. Sasabihin ko, kung ako nasa posisyon ninyo, sabihin ko, teka muna, niloloko mo kami. Pumasok ka rito sa bansa natin, dumaan ka sa immigration, sabi mo, ikaw ay magtuturan dito. Ngayon, pupunta ka sa opisina ko para magtrabaho, mag-deny.
Opo, sir.
Alright. Kung ginagamit niyo po yung Kokote niyo, pwede niyo i-deny. Kung ako, gagamitin ko Kokote ko, i-deny ko yon. So, para sa akin ito, opinion ko. So, kaya niyo pinayagan kasi hindi niyo ginamit yung Kokote niyo.
So for everyone's information, we'll be presenting to you the chain of legal possession insofar as the issued lease agreement, the sublease agreements, and the personalities that were involved in the operations of the PNP-ACG. So Clark being the Freeport Management Authority, the one who manages, administers, and operates and develops the Clark Freeport Zone, leases the whole Clark Freeport Zone. And as the lessor, we have Dongwang Clark Corporation. So that's the first corporation where we have a direct lease agreement with them for a 300-hectare property for a 50-year term. Thereafter, this Dongwang Clark Corporation, as CDC's locator, subleased a portion of it, which is 2.5 hectares, in favor of Sun Valley Clark Hub Corporation. Now, the business activity of Sun Valley Clark Hub Corporation is to put up rent-out office and residential spaces in the Clark. And in fact, Sun Valley Clark Hub Corporation applied with the PAGCOR as a POGO hub, and they were able to get a PAGCOR license for this. Now, for the Sun Valley Clark Hub Corporation, they constructed 8 buildings. And amongst the 8 buildings, yung 2 building, they subleased it again to CGC Technologies Incorporated. And that's around 14,320 square meters for a term of 10 years. Now, you can see there at the bottom, the Colorful and Leap Group Company. This is actually the respondent for the issued search warrants of Regional Trial Court Branch 81 of Bulacan. Sa records po ng CDC, hindi po lumilitaw ang Colorful and Leap Group Company. It shows that either hindi po in-endorse either Sun Valley or CGC Technologies sa CDC ang Colorful and Leap Group Company. So dun po makikita na for Dongwang, Sun Valley Clark Hub, and CGC Technologies, lahat po yan may kontrata, lahat din po yan na isuhan po ng business permit ng CDC. However, pagdating po dun sa Colorful and Leap Group Company, na siya pong respondent dun sa search warrants na na-issue, wala pong record sa amin yun, Senator.
With the permission of the chair.
Yes, please, Senator.
Let's go one by one, no? Itong slide na ito. Si Colorful and Leap Group, may lease agreement siya with CGC?
Wala po. Sa records po namin, wala po silang isinumuti.
Sa records nyo, but based on your investigation, based on the PNP's investigation, do they have any contractual agreement between CGC and Colorful and Leap?
Based on the explanation of CGC Technologies, pinaupa daw po niya sa Color and Leap Group Company.
Based kanino?
Sa explanation po na sinumuti ng CGC Technologies sa CDC. Kasi po dahil nangyari to, nag-issue po kami ng cease and desist order tsaka notice to explain. Tinanong po namin, sino ba yung Colorful na yan? Nung sumagot po sila, sinabi nila na lessee po nila si Colorful.
So on record, sinabi ni CGC na lessee nila si Colorful.
Yes po.
And based on your policy, do they need to report to CDC?
Yes po,
Any
Senator. Yes po.
lease
Any
agreement?
further subleasing should have been reported to
So
us.
it's established that si CGC and Colorful Leap, meron silang business relationship.
Yes po,
They know
Senator.
one another.
Yes po, Senator.
Okay. Nakita ko dito, no, based on your land area, okay, mas maliit si CGC.
Yes po.
And you mentioned that CGC occupies 2 buildings.
Yes po.
Okay.
Senator, if I can go to the next slide,
Okay.
mas clear po
Parang
doon.
alam mo na yung tatanungin ko, ano? Sige.
Yan po,
Yan.
Senator.
Yan. Sige, go ahead.
So,
With the indulgence, the
Yes,
permission
please,
to chair.
Senator Win, you have the floor.
So as you can see, Senator, we have the 8 buildings. Yung naka-box po na red, yun po yung sinublease ni Sun Valley Clark Hub kay CGC Technologies. Yan po yung BPO 1 and BPO 2 or Office 1 and Office 2 po kung tinatawag. So for the whole area, for those buildings inside the blue square, blue box, yan naman po yung buong area ni Sun Valley Clark Hub as a POGO hub with the license from PAGCOR. And for CGC naman po, they were able to secure the accreditation and authority to operate from the PAGCOR for buildings 1 and 2, Senator.
So let's again break it down one by one. So the whole blue box is Sun Valley. That's documented.
Yes, Senator.
And then Sun Valley leased it to CGC. That's buildings C and E.
Yes, Senator.
Yun yung red box.
Yes po.
And allegedly, they subleased it to Colorful and Leaf.
According to CGC, Senator.
According to them. No?
Yes
The
po.
testimony came from them.
Yes po.
And that's duly recorded.
That's
correct?
in their letter of explanation which they have submitted to us.
So first, they violated your own rules because they didn't report the subleasing agreement. And then second, yung nahuli, itong yung mga 1,127
1,127 po.
human traffic victims. Saan sila nakita?
They were all scattered in the residential area.
Doon sa building na 8 building na, where were they rescued?
Senator, the PNP can answer that insofar as the locations of the foreign nationals per building.
Sige, I'll ask them later.
Senator Win,
Yeah.
if I may,
Yeah, go ahead.
before we go to the PNP, on your question, nakita po namin nung ocular inspection na yung dorms, ang nakitira dun sa dorms ay yung scam hub traffic victims mismo. So, pati yung dorms, bahagi din ng operation, Senator Win.
Madam Chair and to
Ng Sun Valley Clark, Senator Win.
yung dorm, is that also the dorm? Kasi
Yes
dyan
po.
sa dorm,
Yes
halo-halo na yan, dorm,
Yes po,
office.
kasi when PAGCOR issues, if you will allow me, PAGCOR issues the POGO Hub license, dapat one-stop shop po yan eh. Parang it's all there. You have the residential, you have the BPO facility, you have canteens, restaurants, laundry shop.
Yeah, but for this particular illustration, they have the door, yan 8 buildings yan, dorms, offices, and other facilities yan.
Yes po.
But saan na-rescue yung 1,000 plus victims? Based on the PNP report.
Based on the PNP report,
We'll ask PNP later on, but we'll ask you. No.
they were rescued at A, B, C, D, E, and F.
A, B,
C, D, E, and F po.
and F.
Because these were the areas where the search warrants were implemented.
So,
And Senator Win, if I may just add to your line of questioning, therefore, since yung mga human trafficking victims, scam hub, sapilitang scam hub operators were rescued during the raid, were rescued in the dorms, actually, Senator Win, it seems CDC could file a case even against Sun Valley Clark kasi may kontrata ang Sun Valley Clark also for the dorms, Senator Win.
good point, Madam Chair. So, doon sa letter C and E, merong na rescue traffic victims.
Meron po.
That's
Based on the list.
based on the police report.
Based on the PNP list that they submitted
And that's
po.
confirmed.
Opo.
So C and E, which is under officially
CGC.
subleased to CGC.
Yes po.
So in other words, in the building that CGC controls or is leasing, merong mga victims doon.
Yes po.
Okay. Who has control over Sun Valley Clark and the CGC building? Who has physical control of that itong
If-
Sun Valley Clark?
If we base it from the approvals and the submissions to CDC, ideally it should be Sun Valley who's just operating the A, B, D, F, G, and the Dorm 1. And CGC, being the sublessee of Sun Valley, should have operated by themselves Office 1 and 2.
I'll break it down in simple terms. When I go there to the Sun Valley Clark, kaninong security guard din nandoon?
I would suppose it would be from Sun Valley.
No, but you're CDC. You should know. Diba? How will you inspect if you don't know who
Yes,
controls
it would be the Sun Valley as the hub operator
So
po.
the Sun Valley controls the compound.
Yes po.
They have security guards.
Yes.
In fact, pumunta rin kami doon eh. Na we had inspection also. Yung security guard nila nasa gate.
Yes po.
So you cannot go in without the authorization of Sun Valley security guard.
Yes po.
Confirm yan.
Yes po.
Okay.
Yesterday din po kasi when I was with the ocular team, I also heard them that the control of the security guards was with Sun Valley Clark
Okay.
Hub po.
In building C and D, who has control?
Been building CNE,
Yes.
CGC po.
So may security guard si CGC doon.
I would not tell if security guard or
But building C and E, is that cordoned within the
Hindi.
compound?
Hindi po. It's part of the compound eh. Wala mang pong harang. It's
So
just
if you
an
go into
entry.
the building, if you go in building C and E, whose security guards are there?
I would think it's Sun Valley po.
It's Sun Valley.
Opo.
Not
Parang
CGC.
isa lang po ang, because Senator, all of their access pass, when we spoke with the PNP, it's all under Sun Valley.
Okay, so in building C and E, CGC is not in control of that building, in possession, control, securing that building.
I cannot say, Senator.
Okay. Sige. So in your opinion, since they have control and they have possession, no? I heard you use legal possession of that area, tama?
For Sun Valley
For
po.
Sun Valley, they have legal possession and control of that building. Hindi makakapasok yung mga biktima nang wala nilang authorization.
Yes po.
Hindi rin magkakaroon ng scam kung hindi magkakaroon ng scam kung pipigilin nila.
Yes po.
So in other words, alam nila lahat na nangyayari dyan.
Based on the evidence, yes sir, alam po nila.
They know the scam is happening in their premises because they control it. You cannot go in there without an ID, correct?
Yes po.
So alam nila yung scam na nangyayari doon?
Yes po.
Alam nila na mayroong 1,000 plus human trafficking?
Yes po.
trafficking?
Yes po.
Okay, alam nila doon.
Yes
Okay.
po. Alam po ni Sun Valley.
So that's the second violation. They have control, they have legal possession, and yet they allowed the operation of scamming in their premises as well as bringing in traffic victims.
Yes, Senator.
That's your analysis. Okay. All right. Who owns Sun Valley and CGC? Sun Valley muna. Unahin muna natin yan.
If I may, I have the
Who is the
GIS
representative who owns, hindi ko alam ha? I don't know. So,
for Sun Valley Clark Hub. Based on the submitted GIS, the president is Kevin Christopher Wong, Senator.
okay.
If you will allow me to read the other directors.
Okay. Sun Valley muna and then let's go to CGC because it's established that they control the premises. It's established that they have legal possession of the premises. So now who are the personalities
For
behind?
the Sun Valley, Senator, for the declared president, it's Kevin Christopher K. Wong. The treasurer is Kimberly Claire K. Wong. The corporate secretary is Lance Rydell C. Chu. And then the other directors are Ziyang Huang and Ding Kai Wang, Senator.
Okay. Who owns CGC?
Senator, if I may read again the GIS po.
With the permission of the chair, of course.
Yes, please proceed.
For CGC Technologies, the president is Kevin Christopher K. Wong. The corporate treasurer is Lance Rydell Chu. The corporate secretary is Hanifa D. Bedar. And the other directors are Kimberly Claire K. Wong, Catherine Crizel K. Wong, and Perry Neil Lee, Senator.
So the owners of Sun Valley and CGC are the same?
May interlocking directors po, but not exactly the same,
So who's the
Senator.
president of Sun Valley?
It's Christopher Kevin Wong.
Who's the president of CGC?
It's Christopher Kevin Wong.
So it's the same
Yes po.
personality. So I don't have the breakdown of the shareholdings, but it seems to me that the personalities behind Sun Valley, Clark, and CGC are one and the same. Correct?
Yes, Senator.
Okay, and in other words, the personalities behind, since they have operational, they have security control of that area, will know what's happening within their premises.
Yes, Senator.
Tama?
Opo.
Have you talked to the owners?
Sa side po namin, hindi po.
So who did you interview? The lawyers? Nila?
No, for the explanation. We
Yes.
just, it's all in writing, Senator, when
Okay.
we wrote
Eh,
them.
who was writing you?
It was one of the signatories was Christopher. Let me check on the record, Senator,
So
if I
who's
may.
on record communicating with CDC?
Senator, I just don't have the letters that they sent. But if my memory serves me right, one of the signatories for the CGC was Christopher.
So it's the owners or the president of the company.
But it was not the president who signed, Senator. It
Who
was a
was-
director.
It was a director.
Yes po.
Which one? Anyways, just
Just
submit.
submit po.
Yeah, Madam Chair, if your permission, can we request CDC to submit to us all
Yes po.
communication, pertinent documents related to this topic?
Yes.
Mr.
Rafi, your questions to the Bureau of Immigration.
Thank you,
have the
Madam
floor.
Chair. My question to the Bureau of Immigration pertains to the 1,000 foreign nationals that were rescued during a raid conducted by the PNP on May 4, 2023, inside the Clark Development Corporation. Commissioner Tansinko, ano po yung visa na gamit itong 1,000 na foreign nationals na rescue sa loob ng CDC upon entering the Philippines?
Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning,
Yes,
Senators.
Commissioner.
Of the 11 nationalities that were involved in this raid,
No, sir, yung 1,000 po.
the
1,000
yes,
foreign
yes.
nationals.
the 1,000 consists of 11 nationalities.
Okay, 11 nationalities,
So-
all right.
For India and China and Taiwan, they enter the country using what we call the Section 9A visa or the tourist visa issued by the consulates
Okay, to
in the country where
so India, Taiwan, and what's the other country, sir?
China.
China, okay. So they use tourist visa.
The 9A visa, 9A tourist visa issued by the consulates.
Right.
Department of
In
Foreign
short,
Affairs.
tourist visa po ang gamit nila.
Yes, sir.
All right. And then the other nationalities.
The other nationalities, Bhutan, Morocco, Indonesia, Malaysia, Myanmar, Nepal, Thailand, and Vietnam, they are entitled to the visa-free entry into the country under Executive Order number 408.
Visa-free entry.
Yes, as tourist.
As tourist again.
As tourist.
All right. So, kung tourist po yung visa na hawak nila, bakit po sila nakapagtrabaho sa loob ng Clark Development Corporation?
In the entry, they are granted a 30-day, the initial authorized stay is 30 days upon entry.
Okay. All right.
So usually their entry, the purpose of their entry is as tourist.
Right.
It's
Okay.
a reverse.
So when they enter the Philippines, the country, upon being interviewed by an immigration official, and they will tell the immigration official interviewing them na andito ako para mag-tour
Yes, sir.
at hindi ako magtatrabaho rito.
Yes, sir. Because
Okay.
that's the condition of the
Exactly.
entry. Yes, sir.
All right. So after that, sir, no, after the interview sa immigration and they're given 30 days normally
Yeah.
para magliwaliw, mag-tour sa Pilipinas, what happens next?
Usually, if they stay more than 30 days, they apply for an extension of their stay as tourist
And kanino po sila nag-apply ng extension, sir?
in immigration.
Okay. And most likely, dito po sa 1,000, nag-grant sila ng extension.
There are some, because the arrivals, based on our records, some of them arrive only on March, April of 2023. So they still have valid authorized stay in the country
Okay,
as tourists.
sige po. And some of them were granted extension visa
Yes, sir.
para makapag-stay longer than 30 days.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, after na sila po mag-grant ng another 30 days extension sa kanilang visa, sila po ay nagtrabaho sa Clark Development Corporation sa loob.
They applied for the conversion of their tourist visa into working visas.
Kanino po sila nag-apply?
Based on our record, sir, some of them applied for a Subic Clark working visa.
Okay.
We applied with the Clark Development Corporation. Some of them applied for the Section 9G visa or the pre-arranged employment visa with the Bureau of Immigration. And some of them are still under tourist visa.
All right. Now, sir, pumasok sila dito as tourist at nag-swear siguro sa mga immigration agents na sila ay magtuturo lamang at hindi sila magtatrabaho.
Tama.
Yes, sir.
Now, after 30 days, they asked for an extension and they were given extension, and then later, mag-apply sila under section, what was that, sir? 19?
9G.
9G, para sila ay magtrabaho.
Yes, sir.
Isn't that odd na they came here as tourists and nangako sila na magtutour sila and then babalik after ng tour nila and then, nagbagong isip ko, ako'y magtatrabaho pala rito. Eh, bakit
Sen.
natin-
Rafi, if I may interject, we actually have a survivor here, a victim survivor, alias Jason. Maybe we can also ask him now, witness po ng iyakat, if he applied for an extension on his
Pero
visa.
yeah, later on, Madam Chair.
All right,
Puso-
but then right after Sen. Rafi, I will ask Jason to address
okay.
this point.
So,
Please proceed.
isn't it odd, Commissioner, that isn't it odd na nanumpa sila pagpasok sa bansa natin na sila ay magtutur lang and then nagbagong isip mag-apply sila as mag-apply sila ng i-convert nila, yung kanilang visa into working visa 9G. So, di ba dapat doon pa lamang red flag na to at hindi na sila aprobahan, sinungaling ka. Sabi mo magtutur ka lang, ngayon magpapa-extend ka. And then pinagbinga ka namin mag-extend, siguro nakulangan ka pa, hindi mo pa napasyalang Boracay, Mampulo, kaya nagpa-extend ka. And now, after all that, gusto mo na pala magtrabaho rito, eh nanluloko ka, hindi ka namin ika-grant. Di ba ganun dapat po?
All under our present laws and regulation, all first-time foreign nationals entering the country, all of them are entering the country under a tourist visa category.
Okay.
And when they are already in the country, they are allowed to convert into other immigration status like working visa.
Is it under, meron ho ba tayong provision sa batas natin na pinapayagan yan or meron ba batas tayo na binabawal yan?
Under Commonwealth Act 613, under the Philippine Immigration Act, that's the existing regulation.
So maybe, Madam Chair, it's time na i-amend natin yan to legislation, pagbawal na natin yan kasi later on I'll explain kung bakit. Now, let's go to CDT.
That, Sen. Rafi, is a possible
Yes.
for inclusion in the committee recommendations.
Kasi
committee
mamaya,
report.
sasabihin ko sa inyo, Ma'am, Madam Chair, this is a matter of national security and I'll explain to you why later. Next, sa CDC, nasan yung mga taga-CDC rito?
Yes.
Clark Development Corporation?
Senator.
Before we move on to the CDC, maybe now is the time we can ask alias Jason the question related to one of the points being asked by Sen. Rafi earlier. So Jason, terima kasih for being here and salamat to the IACAT for making the witness available.
I was going to a very important question, Madam Chair, but anyways.
Yes, yes, of course. Right after this one. Jason, you heard the question of Senator Tulfo earlier. So The chair would like to ask you, what was your visa when you came here to the Philippines?
The first I came here as using tourist visa.
So you were using a tourist visa. And eventually, did you apply for an extension on that tourist visa?
Not me directly, but the company offer me some type of visa called 9G visa.
9G visa.
Yeah, 9G visa to allow us to keep working in here.
All right. And at this time, did you have your passport with you?
No,
You did not.
no, I don't have.
All right. Thank you, Jason. We will return to you later in the hearing. Sen. Rafi, please
Thank you,
continue.
Madam Chair. Yun nga po, sinagot na po yung kanina ni Commissioner Tansinko, yung exactly what our witness just said. Thank you, Mr. General, Jason, nakita ko yung pangalan.
You're welcome.
Alright. CDC,
Yes, Senator.
nasa yung
Nakita po.
CDC natin. Hello po.
Good morning po, Senator.
Clark
Murphy.
Development Corporation.
Yes
Ma'am,
po.
nung magpa-convert from tourist to working visa, itong mga foreign nationals na na-rescue dyan CDC, bakit niyo po inaprubahan? Bakit niyo po inalaw na mabigyan ng 9G visa na para makapagtrabaho? Tulad sinabi ko kanina sa immigration, sinabi nila sila ay tourist and then later on, mag-apply sila ng working visa at papayagan natin magtrabaho para bang gaguhan, niloko tayo. Sinabi sa immigration, pagpasok sa airport natin na tourist lang kami, hindi kami magtatrabaho. Right?
Yes, Senator.
And they have to prove it. And then later on, yung pala mag-a-apply sila ng trabaho rito at pinayagan nyo. Why did that happen?
Senator, if I may explain po. As mentioned by Commissioner, meron po tayong tinatawag na conversion of admission status. At ito nga po ay nangyayari at allowed under Commonwealth Act according to him.
Commonwealth Act.
Opo. Ngayon po, pag dumating po yan na tourist, pwede po siyang
Gaano katagal na po itong batas na ito when you say Commonwealth Act?
Possibly circa 1930s. Ano po?
1930s. Maybe 1940s, 30s, 50s, something like that, right? Okay.
Yes.
So, using that Commonwealth visa na inaabuso ngayon, so pinapayagan natin itong mga tourists na papasok from different countries na later on ay magtatrabaho. Magsisinungaling sa airport, pagpasok sa immigration, sasabihin, tourist lang talaga ako, and then later, magtatrabaho na. At pinapayagan niyo po yung mga sinungaling. You allow these people to lie?
No,
Why
Senator.
do you allow this?
Hindi po, Senator, because per the Subi Clark working visa, meron po tayong mga requirements. It
No,
is-
hindi nga po, no, ma'am. Alam niyo naman, pagpasok nila ng Pilipinas, gamit-gamit nilang tourist visa at nanumpa sila, nag-swear sila dyan sa immigration na ako'y tourist lamang. Hindi ako magtatrabaho dito. So, and then later on, pupunta sila sa CDC at magpapakonvert ng kanilang visa into working visa. Sabi niyo, covered kasi ng Commonwealth Act yan. Pinapayagan niyo. Pero kung ako, hindi ako papayag. Sasabihin ko, kung ako nasa posisyon ninyo, sabihin ko, teka muna, niloloko mo kami. Pumasok ka rito sa bansa natin, dumaan ka sa immigration, sabi mo, ikaw ay magtuturan dito. Ngayon, pupunta ka sa opisina ko para magtrabaho. Niloloko mo kami. Di ba?
Senator, sa side po ng CDC, when they submit their application, we endorse it to the Bureau of Immigration for the issuance of the visa. Because in our current regulations, based on the Subi Clark working visa policy, given that CDC is an investment promotion agency, we give fiscal and non-fiscal incentives. Isa po doon yung non-fiscal is the foreign nationals of locators may be allowed to work in the
Pero dapat, I don't see any problem letting foreign nationals work in our country, pero dapat with proper documents. Sana from the point of origin, kumuha na sila ng proper visa, which is working visa. At doon, na-vet na sila na-screen na sila. Hindi yung dito na natin sila screen kasi pagdating dito, alam naman natin, talabak ang corruption dito, madali na lang maniobra yung system. In this case, namamaniobra na yung system because of corruption. I see clearly here, there's corruption's been happening for a long, long time dyan sa loob ng CDC. Now, why did I say this could be a national security issue, Madam Chair? Kasi any foreign nationals from any country that has intention to create terroristic acts here in our country, they can always say, I'm going to the Philippines as a tourist, mag-apply sa point of origin, and then pagdating dito, sila po ay magtatrabaho. And who knows, they may be member of the PLA, and then they'll be member of the what we call sleeper cell. Alam niyo po yung sleeper cell?
Sure.
Na matutulog lang po sila dito, mag-work lang sila dito, simple lang, they will blend in as regular foreign nationals with works, and then later on, pag kailangan ng servisyo nila, saka sila sasabog, puputok, saka sila gagawa ng lagim. So anyway, what I'm telling you now, CDC, okay, sige, pinayagan nyo, bigyan nyo trabaho because of that Commonwealth Act, na nakapikit kayo, kahit alam nyo mali na, but you have the discretion to deny, right?
If it's all in accordance with the requirements, sir.
Hindi nga, but you have,
Deny, sir. We can deny
Exactly.
po.
but
Yes po.
you have pwede ka mag-deny.
Opo, sir.
Alright. Kung ginagamit niyo po yung Kokote niyo, pwede niyo i-deny. Kung ako, gagamitin Kokote ko, i-deny ko yon. So, para sa akin ito, opinion ko. So, kaya niyo pinayagan kasi hindi niyo ginamit yung Kokote niyo. Ganun po yon. Okay. Now, let's move on. Nabigyan niyo po sila ng working visa. Now, nung sila po yung nabigyan ng working visa at nagwo-work sila doon sa Sun Valley, wala ho ba kayong ginagawang inspection? Kasi alam ko, CDC, meron kayong tinatawag na visitation authority.
Opo.
At any moment, at any time, pwede kayong pumasok doon para mag-inspeksyon.
Yes, Senator.
Ginagawa niyo ba ito on a regular basis? At how long na ito nag-operate itong Sun Valley kung saan may na-rescue itong PNP natin? Ang mga 1,004 nationals. How long have been
For
they
the
in
Sun
operation?
Valley, for the Sun Valley, Senator, they have been operating since September 29 of 2021.
September 2021.
29.
September 29?
Opo, of
2021.
2021.
So, several months na. Di ba dapat una gumagawa kayo ng regular visitation para i-check, especially ito ata, nasa-bliss na, no? From one company to another. Ilan ang pinagpasapasan nito?
Yes po, nag-start po yan sa Dongwang Corporation,
Dawang?
which
Okay.
has a valid lease agreement with CDC in the year 2010.
Okay.
And then come 2018, there was a sublease agreement between Dongwang Corporation
Okay.
and Sun Valley Clark Hub.
Okay.
Sun Valley Clark Hub is a PAGCOR licensee holder as a POGO hub,
Okay.
which has a valid PAGCOR accreditation.
Okay.
And then thereafter, Sun Valley Clark Hub subleased it again to CGC Technologies Incorporated.
Okay.
And that was in the year 2019.
Okay.
And in the whole hub of Sun Valley, which has 8 buildings, yung 2 building po doon, sinablis niya po yan ulit kay
Okay.
CGC Technologies.
Is that legal or illegal mag-sublease?
That's allowed po.
That's allowed.
Sen. Rafi and colleagues, CEO, President Agnes de Vanadera of CDC is joining our
Okay.
hearing. So she will also be available to ask our questions
you.
for CDC. Please continue.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, hindi po illegal yon.
Yes po,
That's
Senator.
fine. Pero, di ba dapat, nakita niyo po, nagpasapasahan na po ng lease agreement. Di ba parang something is not right here and there's that time na kailangan magbusisi na kayo. Ano bang nangyari dito? At kasama yan sa inyong visitation authority
So
na
yes,
basahin?
allowed naman po ang mga locators namin if there are provisions in their contract for
Right.
further subleasing. Tama din po kayo, Senator, that we conduct regulatory inspections over our locators.
Did you do that?
Yes po.
This case?
Primarily po, sir, number one, CDC as the LGU po in the Clark Freeport Zone is the entity that issues the business permits. So, isa sa mga ginagawa po namin for regulatory inspections are the fire, the occupancy permit.
Okay.
Ganun po
So
yun.
ilang beses kayo naggawa ng pagbisita o inspection dito po sa CGC?
Senator Rafi, for purposes of regulatory permits, that's conducted every year.
Every year.
However, we have our own public safety department. Ito po yung security services group namin. And under that group, meron po kaming tinatawag na operations and intelligence, and they are the ones roving sa buong to ensure the safety and security po of the whole Clark Freeport.
Alright, nandun na tayo. Pero yung sa operation, sabi nyo, may nag-inspection. Bakit hindi nyo po nahuli? Ba't kinakailangan pa magsumbong yung Indonesian embassy sa ating PNP at yung PNP pang nakabulaga na outsider, na nandyan na po kayo sa loob, kayo na pong may-ari ng property, sana man lang namanmanan nyo kung gumawa kayo ng proper pagbibisita, pagmamanman, nahuli nyo po agad, ba't yung PNP pa? And PNP has to go to a lot of process, mag-file sila ng search warrant from the court, etc. Samantalang kayo nandyan na, hindi nyo na kailangan yun dahil kayo yung nasa loob, kayo yung may power na to visit it and to make sure na sila gumagawa ng tama, which you didn't do.
Senator Raffy, ang katotohanan po, para sa CDC management and the CDC board, there was really a failure of intelligence. And as a consequence of this operation, the board and the management created a special administrative committee just to investigate and hear all of the security officials
Okay.
of PSD, and they are now under preventive suspension, Senator Raffy.
So there is a failure of intelligence at inamin niyo po yan. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes po.
Now, bakit po nagkaroon ng failure of intelligence?
Because wala pong nakarating sa management or sa board na merong, let's say, red flag na po pala ang nangyayari dun sa hub na yun.
Exactly. So ilan pong mga buildings o businesses o locators meron dyan sa loob ng CDC?
Currently, we have around 1,300 locators,
1,000.
Senator Raffy.
1,000 locators.
Locators po.
Yeah, isa lang itong CGC. So
Yes.
itong 999, gaano po kayo ka-sure na this time hindi na kayo magpe-fail sa inyong intelligence?
Sir, because of this, to tell you honestly, we started to collaborate with the other government agencies, all of the groups of CDC to conduct inspection and to check whether or not they are really doing the business activity that they have declared to CDC.
Can you give this committee a record na kayo po ay gumagawa ng pag-check, pagbibisita dito sa 999 and then bigyan niyo po kami ng report kung ano po yung naging kalalabasan ng inyong ginawang pag-inspection kasi baka naman house-show lang po ito na inspection ginagawa niyo.
We will do that, Senator. We will submit po.
So how often do you do the inspection to your locators? Is this once a month, once a year, once a decade?
Hindi po. Normally po once a year yan when they renew their licenses. Pero would depend also kung ano ang mga issues ng locators that we need to inspect their.
Why once a year? Why not every 3 months? Kasi in a year, marami na pong pwede mangyari. Tulad nito, napabayaan, hindi ka nag-inspect after a year, marami na pong na-traffic ng mga foreign nationals. In a year, a lot of things can happen.
President CEO Devanadera is already online, so you
Okay.
might also want to direct some of your questions to her for CDC.
Is Attorney Chairman Divinadera?
President Devanadera,
President.
can we see you? Are you online already?
Good morning.
Good morning,
Good morning.
President.
Yes.
Sen. Rafi is currently asking questions of CDC. We've been hearing from Attorney Meneses. Maybe you'd also like to field the questions from him. Please proceed.
Okay, Madam President, Presidente? Can I call you
Good morning po, Senator.
CEO na lang, CEO?
morning.
CEO Divinadera,
Oo nga po.
good morning to you, Madam. I would like to continue my line of questioning doon sa pagtatanong kanina sa isa sa mga tao nyo,
Opo.
Attorney Meneses. Inamin niya po, nagkaroon po ng failure of intelligence, kaya po magkakaroon daw kayong pagdidisiplina doon po sa mga nagkulang dito sa Sun Valley raid ng PNP. Now, sabi niya, meron daw kayong 1,000 locators in
Opo.
CDC, right? So,
Opo.
yung 999 na locators, kayo po ay gagawa ng pag-inspection after this incident. Kasi meron nang nangyari, so of course you're gonna do something to avoid from happening this kind of problem, right? Ang sabi niya, once a year. Ang suggestion ko, bakit once a year? Bakit hindi quarterly? Kasi in a year, marami na pong pwede mangyari, marami na pong pwede ma-traffic, baka meron na yung sleeper cell dyan, baka lumawak na at pwede nang gumawa ng terroristic act, etc. So bakit hindi po natin gawing madalas? Bakit once a year?
Kung ilan. May I proceed?
Yes, President CEO De Banader, please
Okay.
answer the question.
Okay. Senator Risa, Senator Tulfo, well, the regular.
And
is
Senator
really one-
Tolentino and Gatchalian are also here.
Oh, Senator Gatchalian and Senator Tolentino, good morning. The regular inspection being done by our law enforcement is really once a year because of the limited number of people. However, it doesn't mean that for the rest of the year they are not on beat patrol. In fact, our standard operating procedure, my standard operating procedure with our enforcers in Clark who are not members of the PNP is really to give me real-time reports. So I get reports even in the evening about robbery, about traffic violation and all that. That means also they are being required to go around.
Okay, ma'am, sorry, makasingit. Ilan pong inspector meron po kayo? How many inspectors do you have?
We have, if I'm not mistaken, we just have about maybe 30 plus, not 30 plus or close to 50, Your
Okay,
Honors.
let's say 30. So,
Opo.
yung 30 na yan, once a year lang po nag-inspect.
Hindi naman po once a year lang. Kasi as I said, they go around. So the regular on building permit, fire, kasi kasama din po yung fire eh. And then, and the other complaints, responding also to the complaints, it's not just once a year.
Kasi ma'am, if you'll do the math, so kung 30 sila, sa loob ng 10 araw, 300 na ma-inspect nila. So sa loob ng 1 month, aabuti na sila 900. So 1 month and a half, more than 1,000 na. So kung tutusin, kaya niyo pong gawin to quarterly. That was my point. Bakit po kinakailang patagalin pa, paabutin pa ng 1 taon na kaya naman palang gawin yung quarterly para mapigilan mangyari itong nangyari ngayon dito sa Sun Valley na kung saan PNP pa ang nakabulaga. Malaking kahiyan, malaking sampal po yan sa CDC. Dapat po kayo nakabulaga niyan na meron naman kayong visitation power na anytime you can go in and visit and inspect, which you didn't do. Yung PNP kailangan pang pumunta sa korte para kumuha ng search warrant at magpakita ng mga ebidensya sa korte ba't kinakailangan ma-search yung premises na yon. So, thank you PNP. Job well done sa PNP. Pero sa CDC, medyo malaking kahiyan ata ito, madam. Kasi kung ginawa niyo lang pong trabaho yung CDC, hindi na po sana nangyari itong problema ngayon, di sana tayo nag-uusap ngayon.
Mr. Senator, we realize that, Mr. Senator, and that's the reason why we made an immediate action of because our monitoring with our law enforcers in CDC is quite close in the sense that I ask for reports not just quarterly but it's every day. As I said, they give me reports every day, including the nighttime, of things that they have monitored, Your Honors. However, I was just a surprise because there was no report on this. And that's the reason why, as mentioned by Attorney Noelle, we concluded that there's a failure of intelligence. And that's the reason why we placed on preventive suspension all officials of the law enforcer group in CDC, Your Honor. So moving forward, we are also doing an investigation. Now, on the other hand, Your Honors, the inspection would only reveal what can be seen physically, Your Honor. And so I don't think even our law enforcers within Clark has that capability and sophistication to monitor highly sophisticated and technical incidents, Your Honor. So, Your Honor, CDC really moved as fast. And we are also thankful that PNP, with their training for cybercrime, was able to detect this, Your Honor.